Hello everyone. In this particular video, we are going to discuss question number 16 of GATE DA exam. Okay. Now this question is based on data structure part. Okay. So this is match the following question. In column 1, we have different technique like first in, first out, lookup operation, last in, first out. In column 2, we have different data structures, stacks, queue, hash table, right? So we should know how this particular data structures are working. Okay. Now let's talk about the stack. Okay. For example, let's say I have one container. Okay. I have one container stack. For example, I am keeping book into that, right? Like this, like this, like this, right? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first I have inserted this book. Second, I have inserted this book. Third one, fourth, this one, fifth one, this one. Now I want to remove the third book from this particular stack. Can I remove this particular book directly from the stack? No. First, I need to remove this, then I need to remove this, and then I can remove this particular book number 3 from the stack, right? So what is happening here? Which book I am removing the first? The book which enter the last in the particular stack, that I have to remove first, right? So stacks works on last in, first out principle, okay? Whichever the item will enter the stack at the last, that particular item will be taken out first. So that is basically a stack last in first out principle. So stack will be this one, right? Now what about queue? So as name suggests, queue, right? For example, I have this particular ATM, right? This ATM is there. Now there is one long queue, okay? People are standing in this particular queue line. So who is going to withdraw the cash first? The person who enters the queue first, right? For example, this particular person, right? So he is standing at the first position. So he'll enter the ATM first, and first he will withdraw the money. Okay. So if you observe this particular thing, so this is basically a array. Okay. The person which enter the array first, that person will be able to take the cash out, right? So this is basically first in, first out principle. So we're entering the element from the rear end. This is basically rear end, and this is also called as NQ because we are inserting the element into an array, and that particular number will be taken out from the front end. This will be a front end, and that is basically a DQ operation. Okay, so we are removing the element from this particular array. So in this way, what we can do, we can restrict this particular list in a such a way that the first in, first out operation will take place. Whichever the element enter the list first, that will be taken out. Same thing in the case of this particular example. I have this long queue of persons, right, like this, right? People are standing in the queue, but the person who entered the queue first, so basically this particular person will be able to withdraw money first. After this person, this particular person will be able to withdraw money first. So that is basically first in, first out principle. So first in, first out is basically a queue. Now what about hash tables? So if I know what is stack, what is queue, I directly match this particular lookup operation with the hash tables like this. But what is this particular hash table is? In what we do in this particular hash table, we have some hash function. We generate one particular hash value by using hash function, and we store the data at that particular position according to the value that we have got from the hash function, right? And then we can apply a lookup operation for that particular element, right? So this is what a hash table is. So I have discussed all these things, tags, queue, hash table, in my notes in detail. You can simply go through that. Okay. Also, I have provided the notes in the course. So even if you go through the notes, so this type of simple question you can easily solve. Okay. So in this particular question, first in, first out, that is P is basically a queue. So P2, Q is basically a 3. So Q3, and R is basically a 1. So last in, first out is basically a stack. So option A is correct here. Simple question for 1 mark. In next year also they can ask this type of question. So please kindly go through the notes, that will be sufficient to solve such type of 1 marker question. And I have already covered this particular thing in the lectures, so you can watch that also. Okay. So that's it from this particular video. Thank you.